Imagine a teacher walks into a new classroom on the first day of school. Before meeting a single student, she already knows which ones are going to have a breakthrough year. Not because of grades, not because of behavior, because a test told her so. That test was fake. The students were chosen at random. But by the end of the year, the so-called special ones had genuinely pulled ahead. Their IQ scores had actually risen, measurably, verifiably, more than the rest. Nobody had lied to the children. Only the teacher knew. And yet the children changed. This is the Pygmalion Effect. The expectations other people hold about you can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Silently, without ever saying a word. Their belief in you is not just a feeling. It is an invisible input into who you actually become. The study was run in 1968 by psychologist Robert Rosenthal and school principal Lenore Jacobson at a San Francisco elementary school. They gave every student a real IQ test, but told the teachers it was a special assessment for identifying intellectual bloomers, students who were predicted to surge academically that year. Then they handed each teacher a list of names. The bloomers, they said, but those names were drawn at random. Rosenthal and Jacobson had simply assigned the label to roughly 20% of each class, regardless of any test result. And they waited a full school year. When they returned and tested everyone again, the results were striking. The randomly labeled bloomers showed significantly larger IQ gains than their classmates, and the effect was largest in the youngest children. First and second graders labeled as bloomers gained an average of over 15 IQ points more than the unlabeled group. Not because of extra tutoring, not because of a special program, just because a teacher believed. But how? The teachers were not told to treat anyone differently. They were not running a conscious experiment. What they did was something subtler and harder to fake. Rosenthal later identified roughly 4 channels through which expectations leak into behavior. He called them climate, input, output, and feedback. Teachers were physically warmer toward the expected students. More eye contact, more smiles, more presence. They taught them more and gave them harder material. They called on them more often and waited longer for answers. And when those students responded, the feedback was richer and more detailed. None of this was deliberate. The teachers would have denied it had you asked them mid-year, but the children felt it, even without understanding it, and they rose to meet it. The name comes from an ancient Greek myth about a sculptor named Pygmalion. He carved a statue so beautiful that he fell in love with it. He believed in it so completely that the goddess Aphrodite brought it to life. The statue, named Galatea, became real. George Bernard Shaw turned the myth into the play Pygmalion, the inspiration for My Fair Lady. A phonetics professor transforms a Cockney flower girl into a refined lady simply by treating her as one. Rosenthal had actually seen a preview of this effect years earlier in rats. He told students in his lab that their test rats were either maze bright or maze dull. In truth, the rats were identical, randomly assigned. But the students who believed their rats were smart handled them more confidently, more gently, more encouragingly. And those rats ran the mazes faster. The expectation changed the handler. The handler changed the rat. There is a dark mirror to all of this. It is called the Golem Effect. In Jewish folklore, the golem was a creature animated from clay. Powerful but mindless, dangerous in the wrong hands. In psychology, the Golem Effect is the same mechanism running in reverse. Low expectations placed on someone produce worse performance. The teacher who has already written a student off. The manager who does not bother explaining because they assume you will not get it. The parent who stops pushing because they have decided the ceiling is low. Their doubt is also an input. Rosenthal and Jacobson named their study Pygmalion in the classroom. It became one of the most cited and most debated findings in educational psychology. The effect sizes have varied across replications. The mechanism is real. The magnitude depends on context. But the core finding is held. Expectations shape behavior. Behavior shapes outcomes. And the loop closes quietly without anyone announcing it. Think about the people who believed in you before you had earned it. A teacher who called on you as if she already knew the answer would be good. A coach who put you in positions that felt slightly too large. Someone who introduced you to others with just a little more confidence than you felt yourself. They were not predicting you. They were building you. And right now, somewhere in your life, you're playing the same role for someone else. The question is, what are they becoming because of what you expect?